China's ties with Latin America have expanded rapidly, haven't they? And what do you see as the most important drivers behind this growing relationship?
Thanks for having me, Sally. Certainly what Latin America is looking now at China is perhaps a more predictable partner, as it has been. And I think in this particular case, since we're broadening the framework of the interview to the two sessions are a clear instrument of political predictability in a world which has become certainly more uncertain and in which unexpected events happen. And for countries which have their own domestic troubles, as is usually the case of Latin America, being able to have foreign partners with whom they can rely, it's certainly a key issue. Also, the fact of the size of the Chinese market and Chinese foreign investments is a certain attractor for Latin America, which requires a lot of foreign investment, particularly in its critical logistics and infrastructure, and so much areas in which China can provide not only finance, but also expertise and experience in terms of development.
So can you talk a little bit more about how trade and investment, which are at the core of that expansion, how the countries in Latin America are benefiting from a deeper economic relationship with China?
For sure. I think we can, if we're talking about the two sessions, we can get a hint of what to expect from last year's Central Economic Work Conference. China is looking to achieve technological and industrial self-reliance, which needs, of course, of critical minerals. Latin America stands at an advantage in that sense. There are massive deposits of lithium, which are totally necessary, for example, for the modernization and electrification of the Chinese industry. Also in Bolivia and Chile, you have copper as well in Chile and Peru. You have massive deposits of oil and gas, which are necessary to provide a constant flow of energy, which as China grows, it will certainly need. And with uncertain issues happening both in Venezuela and Iran at the moment, Latin America holds key reserves, and it's a region of relative peace and stability to supply those goods. Certainly, it's going to be a tougher couple of years ahead, in the sense that, of course, Latin America stands firmly within the United States sphere of influence, and the United States will certainly push Latin American countries to exercise a high degree of scrutiny in terms of Chinese investment, especially in critical infrastructure. But handling it properly and with the necessary transparency and safeguards, as stated by the Chinese Political Consultative Assembly, there's lots of room for improvement, and certainly the United States would welcome sustained and increasing Chinese investment in the region.
So when we talk about some of these areas of collaboration like infrastructure, energy, tech and agriculture, what are some of the sectors that stand out as the biggest success stories in your mind?
Well, certainly, again, mining is a major issue here in my country. In Argentina, China holds some of the largest deposits and mines and investment in that sense in the procurement of lithium. If you look also in the sense of agriculture, Latin America stands as some of the largest suppliers of soybeans and meat, which is a massive thing for China as it strives to achieve what President Xi Jinping has called protein sovereignty, and it'll be necessary as the Chinese government strives to enhance demographic indicators. Investments, of course, in biotechnology. China has in the last years achieved world-class institutions in terms of research, and Latin America, in terms, of course, of biotechnology and agricultural technology, stands as one of the greatest centers of innovation. So the possibility for exchange, not only at the research level, but also as the university and in the sense of tourism. Chinese tourism is growing in the region. So as you see, there's a diversified and a plethora of use cases in which China can grow and can develop better relationships.
So looking ahead then, how could a stronger China-Latin America partnership contribute to development and stability, both regionally and on the global stage?
Well, of course, China mentions a lot the issue of transparent and vigorous multilateralism, and of course of enhanced South-South cooperation. Of course, the other side of the equation here again is that with a more assertive United States, there are certain paths to the relationship that are going to be clarified, and of course there are going to be certain boundaries which, for example, China hasn't found that much in places like in Africa, where it has had a very large infrastructure investment. So in a sense, it is a way of how to develop a mature relationship with Latin American countries, one that can accommodate the concerns of a regional hegemon. And I think in that sense, the forthcoming visit ironically, of the North American president, of President Trump, to China in late March is going to be a major clarifying point for the relationship of China vis-a-vis Latin America.
Right.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully we're going to see a great improvement in that sense, and
Okay.
a more stable and prosperous relationship.